Hello again. At risk of repeating myself, I'll say something that I have said several times before. We in Britain seem to like having a two-party system so that our governments alternate between Labour and Conservative. This arrangement has suited everybody for the last 100 years or so, and there's no sign of things changing anytime soon. Every so often, both Labour and the Tories end up being led by some no-hoper, and then everybody predicts that their party is finished for good. When Michael Foot was leader of the Labour Party 40 years ago, it did so abysmally in the 1983 election that some people claimed that Labour was finished, and that was it. They would never come back. It took 14 years for the party to recover, but under Tony Blair they had a massive win. Now it was the turn of the Conservatives to be in the wilderness, and there was talk of they too were finished as a party. That all changed, and of course they bounced back again. Now people are claiming that the next election could see the end of the Conservatives and they're eclipsed by the rising star of Reform UK. The problem is, of course, that every time some new party is claimed to be about to break the mould of our two-party system, it doesn't. How many viewers remember the high hopes of the Social Democrats in the early 1980s? Roy Jenkins, Shirley Williams and David Owen claimed that they were about to break the mould of British politics, and one or two MPs were even elected. It soon fizzled out, though, and Britain retained the familiar and tried and tested two-party system. Then, 5 years ago, Labour MP Chuka Ramana and half a dozen other Labour MPs left the party and formed a new party called Change UK. Anybody remember that in February 2019? It was going to break the mould of British politics. It lasted about 5 minutes. Which brings us to Reform UK, which so many people think is going to replace the Conservatives as the main party of opposition in this country. Of course, this did happen once, so it's not impossible, at least in theory. Throughout the 19th century, the Liberals and the Tories were the two parties which took it in turns. And then after the First World War, that changed and it became instead the Labour Party and the Conservatives. Could this be about to happen now? Are we seeing a sea change in British politics? My guess is not. The leader of Reform UK, Richard Tice, was yesterday blackmailing the deputy chair of the Conservatives by tweeting the following. A special Easter message to Tory MP Jonathan Gullis. Given the multiple bits of embarrassing personal information we have on you, I suggest you pipe down on your attacks against me. Leaving aside the awful fact that he chose Easter Day to do this, and even referenced Easter in the tweet, I have never in all my life seen a politician behave in this way, publicly threatening to reveal damaging information about somebody. This is blackmail, pure and simple, and tells us at once that this is not a man who could possibly be thought suitable for office. Dreadful business. It's fairly clear what's going to happen next, which is that Reform UK will carry on looking good in the opinion polls until the actual election, whereupon everybody will vote either Tory or Labour as usual, and Reform UK will then split apart in a series of internal rows and recriminations. That will go on for a few weeks, and then it will be completely forgotten.